each office. Because the thing is, we have 15
So they,
minutes,
where's your
so
t-shirt?
It's actually not.
It's in here, it's in here.
Put it on, please.
Go ahead, go in the elevator.
Teresa.
But the thing is, when they've gone off, they've only had like 5 other words. And he doesn't have, ooh, I should let Milano get in touch with him. He's, you know, it's not too many children things. He wants to defund Planned Parenthood. So, you know, we need to talk about.
Protecting children from cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
You are
That's
the
okay.
of my kids.
Right, oh yeah, probably women and children's parking, and also medical, you know, women. Because they wouldn't touch it, so I just allowed them to serve me for 1 month, and that's when the,
Everybody's in there. All right.
Right, but the problem is they have to do the application under the democratic process to do that. Therefore, if they don't do it, then
Brings you to Washington, D.C. today.
the bright sun.
Is that all? It's just for your health?
Oh, you're recording?
Yeah, well, we're about to march to the Supreme Court, almost.
To join in again, once again. The mothers who've been unfortunately caught in the court system. Can you see my shirt?
Let me back off a little. Yeah, well, it doesn't say anything on it.
No, but I mean, is it shining
oh,
too much?
You know what?
How's
I
your
think
exposure?
we fixed it.
Good for us.
We
Good for us.
fixed it.
If only we could fix the big problem.
Here.
Right.
Let me get your button, Professor. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, don't get the advertisement for the law firm on the keys.
Yeah, those guys won't help you. They're just bottom feeding sharks anyway. Thank you.
I think you mixed your fish metaphors.
Could really go wrong.
It's hard to tell
Very,
if
very
anything's
bright.
changed. Good afternoon. What brings you to Washington, D.C., then?
Well, Abby and I are here in support of her 4 older siblings who were taken away from me and given back to their father, who was accused and guilty of molesting my youngest daughter, physically and emotionally abusing my 3 older children. They went through multiple interviews, multiple evaluations, and after 3 years of fighting and trying to get them help, they are back with him unsupervised, and there's no oversight and no recourse happening in the family court. So we are here to speak out for that injustice and for all the children and mothers who are silenced by this incredible oppression and corruption that's taking hold in our country.
Thank you so much for your presence here today.
Thank you.
I am so glad that Sarah said oppression, because this is oppression, and this is systemic oppression against women by our government. And it's got to stop. And these are human rights violations. This is discrimination against women. It's oppression of women. It's meant to destroy us. My ex told me, he said, you'll commit suicide. Well, I'm not committing suicide. Somebody's going to have to assassinate me because I am speaking out.
Yay!
Yay!
Rights violations.
Thank you for coming. Awesome. Awesome.
20 minutes, ladies. And then where are we walking? Back direction?
I don't know.
Someone knows. Someone knows. Someone knows. Who else is coming? Going this direction.
What brings you here today to the capital city?
I think that our congressional people need to understand what's happening to our children in the family court system. And they're literally being bought and sold like a piece of property and given to abusers. And it's time that our representatives wake up and protect our children. They are our future, after all. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the capital city. What's going on?
Well, we're here today to bring awareness to what's happening in the family courts and to bring justice back to them, to allow children to be able to report abuse, and when they report that to their protective parent, that their protective parent can actually keep custody of them. Right now, our children are being taken away from their safe parent and being forced to live with their abuser. And we're hurting our children in America. We have to stop doing this, and we're bringing light, and we're bringing awareness, and we're going to make sure that our children remain safe in America.
You can take our picture.
Thank you.
Almost every year I come and support the mothers of lost children. As the former head of the California State Domestic Violence Coalition, this is one issue that's been forgotten. Mothers who've lost their kids to perpetrators. So we need to reform our family court system and provide better protections for children and return them to the protective parent.
Thank you. I love your shirt.
Cheryl made it down from New Jersey. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm so glad I could be here to support everything that's going on. We just need to raise more awareness. It's something unbelievable to those who've never experienced it. And we have to keep screaming for justice and attention until the children are believed, seen, and heard.
That's right.
Blessed be.
What's that shirt in your hand? What does it say?
It says Mothers of Lost Children.
Awesome. I hope to stop in at Sandra's.
You know we love you. The cords.
Yeah, she knows how to throw a party, let me tell you.
And then she has a pool down the street.
Yeah, we went to it.
Did you? Oh, right.
Yeah. Here. Hey, look at this awesome sign. The invasion of the body snatchers.
Baby snatchers.
Oh, right. The invasion of the baby snatchers. Read all about it. www.kitandnancy.com. Bullies innocent parents, grabs their baby, shatters families forever. And can I get a witness? What brings you to the Capitol?
Hi, I'm the witness here marching for my daughter and for all the children who have been unjustly separated from their parents, particularly mothers. We're focusing on mothers today.
And you are an awesome mother, and I salute you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I love my daughter.
Hi, I'm Captain Cheryl. Nice to know you.
Nice to know you too. Where are you from?
New Jersey. I'm from the New Jersey delegation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cheryl from New Jersey, welcome.
Oh,
Hi, Heather.
Hello, Kathy Lee. Heather Bolt, upstate New York region. Would you like a water bottle?
Oh, yes, please. I thirst.
Heather Bolt, look up and smile.
Oh, sorry. The wind blew me over. Did you see it?
It's strong today. It is strong today.
Yes. I love your sunglasses.
Can I ask you a question right now?
Okay, sure. You want to go like...
Let's see, what brings you to the Capitol today?
Well, I'm with Mothers of Lost Children, and we're here to protest the removal of over 58,000 children every year from fit parents by America's family divorce courts, and they're being turned over by these courts to perpetrators of sexual abuse, physical abuse, and emotional abuse of these children. So we're here to make sure that they get protected. We want the public to know what's going on. These crimes are hidden. They're hidden from view. We want transparency. So we're here, we're doing work here at a march. We're going to be over lobbying, our congressional members to try to help get the new resolution that we're hoping to be reintroduced into Congress. So we're trying to work on all of these things, and it's wonderful. We have some wonderful moms out here today. We're all banding together in unity and in solidarity, and we're trying to raise the public awareness. It's a beautiful day in DC, and we want people to join us. We're going to be here again in September, so think about it, put it on your calendar and come join us.
Join us. Thank you.
Sure.
So I've got a bunch of them coming out, but I was dead center. Dead center.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Did you actually get it?
Did he see your shirt?
Were you able to hand him a flyer? I know, because I didn't know Ivanka Trump was in front of me yesterday. Because everybody was walking, I was kind of very meditative, and then I was like this, and then everybody's going like, that's Ivanka Trump, and I didn't have anything. I knew what restaurant at Clyde in Georgetown, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have anything to give.
Jacqueline, we're so glad you could come. Would you like to tell me what brings you to the capital city today?
I'm a mother who lost her children. I'm a great mother who lost her children to a documented abuser. Only crime, I wouldn't cower and say he wasn't abusive. So I have no custody of my children whatsoever. They were taken without any warning at the ages of 3 and 5, ripped from their beds.
Oh God, I'll catch you at the other end. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I did know that. People would not rush you.
Alright guys, can you get in a little bit closer? Yeah, do you want us over this way? Maybe we should go side.
Fighting for our children.
Fighting for our children.
Justice in the court.
Justice in the court.
Everywhere we go, people want to know.
Mighty, mighty mother.
We are the mothers.
We are the mothers.
Mighty, mighty mothers.
The mighty, mighty mothers.
Fighting for our children.
Fighting for our children.
Justice in the court.
And justice in the court.
We are. So we tell them.
So we tell them.
We are the mothers.
We are the mothers.
Mighty, mighty mothers.
The mighty, mighty mothers. Fighting for our children. And justice in the court. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are.
Raising our voices.
Raising our voices.
Justice in the court.
For justice in the court.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go. People want to know who we are. So we tell them.
The people want to know. Who we are.
We are the women,
The mighty, mighty women.
the mighty, mighty mothers.
Raising our voices. For justice in the court.
Justice in the court.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go.
The people want to know.
People want to know.
Who we are.
Who we are,
So we tell them.
so we tell them.
We are the mothers. The mighty, mighty mothers.
Mighty, mighty mothers.
Raising our voices.
Raising our voices.
For justice in the court.
Everywhere we go.
Justice in the court. When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the
When do we want it? Now. What do we
Now.
What do we want?
Safe kids.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice in the courts.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
justice in the court.
When do we want it?
Now.
Children should be seen.
Heard, believed, and protected.
Children's rights are human rights.
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 Right on, left on D.
Yeah, well,
Excellent save.
yeah. That was a good save.
The mothers, we are the mothers, mighty, mighty mothers,
Mighty, mighty mothers,
fighting for our children,
fighting for our children,
justice in the courts,
justice in the courts.
everywhere we go,
Everywhere we go,
people want to know who we are, so we tell them.
Over this way. Vicky, move this way to your, yeah.
Going to begin in there, please.
move a little bit to the right.
We are the mothers,
We are the mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
fighting for our children,
fighting for our children.
and justice.
So we tell them,
We are the mothers,
we are the mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
fighting for our children,
fighting for our children,
and justice in the court.
and justice in the court.
Tell them,
So we tell them,
we are the mothers,
we are the mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers,
fighting for our children,
fighting for our children,
and justice in the court.
and rather out of breath. Yeah.
Justice!
Now. Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Justice. Now.
For children,
Justice in the court.
justice in the courts.
Everywhere we go,
Everywhere we go,
people want to know
people want to know
who we are.
who we are.
So
So we tell them,
we are the mothers,
we are the mothers,
mighty, mighty mothers,
the mighty, mighty mothers.
people want to know
People want to know
who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them,
So we tell them,
we are the mothers,
we are the mothers.
mighty, mighty mothers.
Right outside the Supreme Court, right here on the other side. The justice in the courts.
And justice in the courts.
Everywhere we go. Oh, sorry.
Everywhere we go. People want to know.
Stand on here?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's better to get forgiveness than permission.
Believed and protected.
Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected. Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected. Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected. Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected. Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected.
Children should be
Seen, Lee.
The Supreme Court behind there.
Should be seen, heard.
May I just talk to God? God speaks for me.
What brings you to the Capitol today?
Children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected. And this is Courageous Kids. This is Barry Goldstein standing up for kids. This is Leadership Council and Saving Damon. There's a whole bunch of videos on the back. These are kids' voices. The voices of children is important for the generations to come, because right now the children's voice is not being heard in the United States of America, and we are having a problem. This is America, this is the world. It's not just happening in the United States, it's happening internationally. Human rights are being violated, and we need this violation on the children to stop. These are children's rights, these are humans' rights, this is non-gender biased, it's family violence. This is under family violence, and we're trying to bring forward awareness, public awareness. These are my children. These are when they were in karate. This is the earth, because we had to come together as a whole earth to save the children of all the United States, all the countries. And when it says 58 children should be seen, or 58 children per year are ordered by USA family courts to live with batterers, sexual molesters, and pedophiles. And this is accredited by Leadership Council.
Yes, 58,000.
www.leadershipcouncil.org, which is LEADERSHIPCOUNCIL. So this is only a portion of the children that are being put with perpetrators. And how this happens, we're going to say the number one aspect is there's two court systems. There's criminal and there's family. In family law right now, the best interest of kids is both parents, even if they're being molested. And if they're being molested through CPS, the standard in CPS is anybody under the age of 5. It's not credible, it's unfounded, because what the police have to say about law enforcement is that pedophilia, incest of children is only marital conflict, and it's not a crime with doing oral sex or fondling with a child that is under age of 5. And CPS cannot touch custody. And also these cases, they say yes, the kids are acting out this behavior, sexual behavior, but the issue is it's okay because we cannot convict the dad for molesting the children under 5, because the children have no rights to know what's happening to them or to have rights to speak up, to say that they have been, they speak out that they've been abused, or they don't say the word abused, they act it out. So acting it out, adults put words in their mouth, and then they say they're not credible as children to know what happened to them. And in the system, the system is failing children because of the way the laws are. Child abuse and sexual assault on children under 5 years old should be a crime in the United States of America. It is not. And the other crime, domestic violence, is not a crime in the United States of America. So they are, instead of in criminal court, they are in family court, which is the best interest of children, and which is not in the best interest of children, which is saying that children have a right to have both parents, and both parents means to share with the pedophile and domestic violence abuser, and then law enforcement and the courts force children and the domestic violence mom that ran away from the abuse of the father to have a relationship with the perpetrator, and that is property rights. So the abuse is family violence, and it does not end. Then the court becomes the perpetrator, helping the perpetrator, as well as a bigger perpetrator of systematic abuse on these children. And when these children speak out, they're not heard, believed, or protected. They're told that their abuse did not happen. And when they speak, no one will listen to them. They'll say that it's PAS, your mommy coached you, it's false memory syndrome, it's parental alienation, that it is also thought disorder, and that if it's not convicted, they say with custody evaluators that it did not happen. The problem with domestic violence shelters is they do not protect children. And in that not protecting children and giving domestic violence mothers awareness of what's going on in the courts, these children are being abducted out of safe houses. They are being abducted from the mother's jurisdiction, kidnapped and trafficked to the father for the reason of speaking out on domestic violence and speaking out on child abuse. And these problems, the domestic violence providers are not family violence providers, so they have a wheel for family violence. This is family violence matter, not domestic violence matter or fatherhood right matter. It is considered human rights matter. So these children are my children. This is John, this is Raven, and her name's Raina Raven, and they were both ordered in court also to be removed from their karate, which was my son's dream to do, that he was in karate from the age of 6 all the way to age 8. And we ran from domestic violence, that the perpetrator threw a bottle at me, shoved me in the wall, was holding a baby, which he was only 2 when we left, and we did not know that we were not coming back. We got out of a domestic violence incident. I called a friend to help, but she did not help. Instead she called the safe house. And from that safe house, we didn't go to that safe house, but they got us to a different county, so our case became multi-jurisdictional. And multi-jurisdictional, every single one of those cases are falling through the crack in the state of Colorado, and every single one of those cracks that we fell through and our kids fell through, we thought we were safe because we told the truth. I told the kids when CPS, the safe houses kept reporting the sexual abuse, the kids were acting out, and so CPS was very involved in the very beginning of these cases, in this case, and told me I could not go back to the identified perpetrator. And if I did, that they would take the kids and they put us on a service plan to be in safe houses until transitional housing opened up. And in that process, I did not know the perpetrator instantly filed Amber Alert that I said I kidnapped the kids. And so 4 years, I had, actually 4.5 years, I had these court orders of kidnapping placed upon me, that I could not leave the state. I could not, I had to be very supervised and monitored, and then my kids were also forced into reunification, which my children got beaten. My little boy got beaten in reunification, and then he tried to kill himself when custody exchange. And so to further it, I recorded every single thing. So I have all these recordings, and I turned on all the people of these high levels doing crimes, away from the reunification therapists and their kids therapists, which the perpetrator had an affair with. And I never knew that I believed in the system, the United States of America. I believed that our children were protected, and I discovered they were not. They are not protected in the United States of America, that kids do not have rights. And so with the next thing we're trying to do is the Congress, this is requesting the HCON Res 150, which is child safety. We're trying to get that passed through Congress so that child safety is the first thing that can happen, because right now, if a father, or we also say it's not gender bias, if men are having this issue, they need to come forward. But if either person is having trouble that is not an offender, is having child safety issues, they put that protective parent held responsible for not sharing. And you cannot share with somebody that's abusing their children. In the HCON Res is there is on page 4 where it talks about the, we're going to go to page 4. Okay, on page 3 of this resolution, it says the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights found that the United States is failing in its legal obligations to protect women and children from domestic violence, and now for its in here in this Constitution about these violations of the United States on children's rights. So right now we are standing up here today for children's rights for all children, and I stand up also for the children that can't be here today with the incest loophole and how that happens, as well as the artwork that some of these children have helped create. And so these packets, I have also got put in jail for helping put out these packets. So my rights and my Miranda rights are furtherly violated, and then they furtherly put restraining orders on me. So we want justice, and so we thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. What brings you to the Capitol today?
Okay, I want for Child Protective Services to be held accountable for all the children that they steal unjustly from loving and fit parents. I want to see an end to the financial incentives that are given to CPS agencies across the country. They should not be allowed to get bonuses for placing children in foster care or with adoptive parents, because it destroys the incentive for them to reunite children with their biological families.
Exactly. Thank you.
Were you able to take out the trash cans? Okay, like move a bit. Yeah. Right.
Amen, everybody now. For the children. Amen. Amen. Get close.
All right. So just stand still, guys. Smile. 1, 2, 3.
Remember, we were on our way out, right?
We were on our way up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We were at Sandra's house. I have mine upside down. And so I read the letter out loud and the poem.
Here, I want to here.
I read that.
When I see the red record in there now? Yep. And now when I press it again, you'll see it's on red record.
Hi, I'm Teresa Weismandel. I'm on my second Mothers of Lost Children March in Washington, D.C., representing my 3 children and all mothers who have lost custody unfairly in the corrupt judicial system. Family courts across the country are not protecting our children. 58,000 children are placed at risk per year, and 70% of batterers receive partial or full custody if they ask for it. 90% of identified child sex abusers receive partial or full custody, and unfortunately judges are ignoring evidence despite clear danger to our children. We ask that Congress members sponsor Congress Resolution 150, and what that does is it ensures that child safety is the state's first and highest priority of custody and visitation adjudications in state courts. And it will also hold congressional oversight hearings to look into this national and epidemic problem throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get the photo off? Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. What is that? We can Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Could I always get a group? Okay. It's very informal. I'm not going to speak long. I've been speaking at these things since 1991, and really, I've been saying kind of the same thing over and over, and we know it.
Pull the trigger.
I'm going to make it brief. First of all, I got a call yesterday from Kitty Cruzy. Many of you know Kitty, and she couldn't be here today, but she wanted to send everybody her love, and she's praying today for us and for the children and so forth, and for success in what we're trying to do. And I'm just here today to say that basically I'm not so much part of this now because I think that there's political action like what we're doing that has a real function in our culture. But I'm here, nevertheless. Closer? Yeah. I'm here nevertheless for us. I'm here for you, for each of you who's here, because if I wasn't here, it'd be one fewer. And because I'm kind of the old soldier, the tired one, and I have nothing new to say, and I haven't got much really to say at all. We know what the situation is. The one thing that has perhaps happened that made it a little clearer in our minds is that nothing about it is about us. It's not about any mistakes we have made as a parent, as a woman, as a person. There's no thing about us, about any one of you, that has had the effect of depriving you of the children, of depriving your children of their mothers. And I found myself saying this back in 1982. I was saying it to an individual mother. This is not something you did. This is not because of something you forgot to do. This is not because you didn't do something good enough or well enough. It is not about all those imperfections that they carry on about. It's not about all the drama and the Sturm und Drang they carry on about in court. All that is window dressing. All that is, frankly, just a bunch of lies to make it look like it's okay. What has happened is the kids really are property. Women had always been property up until very recently, when they were tinged a little bit with kind of a human property thing. And this grew out of our general idea about what democracies are supposed to do and what human rights are supposed to be. And it never really wore itself into the fabric of our culture. So what we had, when we had any rights, like from 1920 on, when we had some custody rights based on allegedly children's best interests, it was never based on that anyway. What we had was a sort of a nice veneer for them saying, okay, you girls are if you're perfect, we'll let you keep your kids for a little while. What we have now is what we always had. It's only worse because we were told that we have something different now. We were led down a garden path. We were told that we were free. We were told we had constitutional rights. We had liberty interests. We had this, we had that. And now we're really seeing that all that falls away. When there's one kid, one mom, one dad, or one dad surrogate, and there's a contest for who is going to have, quote, care, custody, and control. It's not really about custody. It's about control. And that, we're where we, unfortunately, we are where we always were. It's just harder to know it now. It's harder to say, well, we got fooled. We thought we had all these things. I wrote impassioned papers. I got all the citations. I was over in the Library of Congress from 8 in the morning when it opened until 5 when it closed forcibly every day, and taking all the little note cards with me and copying. And then I used to get what I call Library of Congress disease and fall asleep on the book I was reading. Those things don't matter. And so the axiom is those things don't matter, and the corollary is it's not our fault. We're here, we're doing the right thing. I hope that this makes some success for somebody sometime. And if it doesn't, we'll still keep doing it. And we have to do it. And, Connie's been here since forever, and we'll just be here forever. And remember, when we say we're mighty, mighty mothers, we're not mighty because we win. We're mighty because we survive.
Okay, so my concern about Child Protective Services is that they're taking a lot of children from good biological families whose parents have not done anything wrong, or they're falsely accused of abusing or neglecting their children. And the family courts usually uphold these decisions of Child Protective Services. What a lot of people don't know, I think, is that CPS caseworkers get federal bonuses from the federal government for each child that they either place in foster care or place for adoption. And this is really wrong, and these subsidies and bonuses need to be ended because they only provide the wrong incentive to tear families apart instead of keeping them together. And over the years since I lost custody of my daughter Sabrina, who is 12 years old now, and I haven't been allowed to see her since she was 2 years old, but I've seen a lot of other videos on YouTube and Facebook of other good parents that this has happened to also, where their children have been stolen and they didn't do anything wrong. And it's really heartbreaking, and we all need to bond together, like a lot of other people have said today, that the government can silence people if each individual person thinks, oh, there's something wrong with them, this only happened to me, it doesn't happen to other people. But when people get together, people who are victims of CPS and family court, there's strength in numbers. And it makes people realize that this can indeed happen to the best parents. We need to put an end to it. Thank you.
To say that children should be seen, heard, believed, and protected, that the future generations of the children is at stake in America, where right now children do not have rights. And this is a human rights issue. It's family violence, it's non-gender biased, and it's about families and families' rights and children for the future. Right now, CPS cannot do custody cases, and so when everybody thinks that CPS can do custody, they cannot. It's in their rule book in all states, and there's a loophole for incest, and so incest is considered marital conflict, and that's the loophole for marital. So if a father or a mother is incesting their children, it is not a crime in America. And the law enforcement, what they say is they cannot convict on oral sex, on fondling, and any child that is under 5 years old, it is not credible, it is not provable, because children make this up. They say this is them, meaning CPS and law enforcement, because they cannot convict where anybody, they don't have videotapes and evidence of what happened, so they discredit the children. The children acted out. And then in the juvenile court starts at age 10, and these children molest other people's kids. My kids have molested other kids, and my daughter was 4, and she molested a 6-year-old that was in summer camp. And also my son acted out. So all this stuff that's acted out, your children, this is in the state of Colorado, it is okay right now by General Attorney, okay, by Cynthia Hoffman, and the district attorneys need to be regulated by General Attorney, and as a state crime, they say unless it's not convicted, it is not a crime. So in the system of court, meaning family court, if it doesn't happen, meaning conviction, then they will say that the mother and the children are delusional and made it up, even though there's all this medical evidence that is founded in through doctors, but CPS aren't forensic, they can't take it. And also family court does not look at evidence, because then they made a
reality of custody evaluators with all types of different names, and those custody evaluators are not educated in domestic violence, and they're not educated in child sexual abuse, and the education they do have is parental alienation as well as child protective services. So on your child protective service chart, you will see when in any type of custody case, you will see it says PAS, level of safety of parent that is protecting a child that is being reported to be abused. They will evaluate a safety on like a domestic violence chart on PAS, which is parental alienation syndrome. So child protective services is brought in to their system parental alienation, as well as the therapists that are supposed to be educated in that if a child is not acting normal in sexual behavior, they think normal is children getting excited about being touched. So if you tell a child that, tell us if you're touched, and then this child speaks up, and the child then gets put with their perpetrator, what message is that giving this children? It's saying that right is wrong, wrong is right, and then these children in juvenile, which starts at age 10, are in prison, and they're saying, I was molested, why am I being punished for daddy? Daddy did this, and I'm doing this because it's okay. And so that's what we're teaching our children right now, and it does happen to you. Your school systems are teaching same-sex marriage, they're teaching, are you a girl, are you a boy, and it's okay to touch each other, and these are in the bathrooms, these are in public. My daughter molested another child under a table in gymnastics camp. So this is, and what happens with CPS, they say, oh, it's just experimentation because look at the age, and this gymnastics camp doesn't want to be sued, the daycare doesn't want to be sued, neither does the school. So they say, oh, this is just experimentation. So with experimentation, they say that's experimentation until age 10, and then they become on the sex register list as a 7-year-old. The youngest is 7 on a sex registry for molesting other kids. So it does affect society, and so all of these Congress people, all these people that doesn't think they happen to them, well, their kids are in school. And because if you're homeschooling your kid, CPS thinks in California that's against the law to homeschool your child, and they will take your child from CPS for homeschooling. And if you're in other states, each state has its jurisdiction in laws, and if you're with CPS, also, if you don't have immunizations for your child because you're into holistic medicine, which is a lot safer, where you can put remedies on your tongue with vaccinations. So the other thing they're taking kids for is, from safe parents, is for vaccinations that if you don't vaccinate your child, then they say you're a bad parent. So CPS is also part of the problem, and so is law enforcement, and so is the general attorney in your state. So you need to wake up. In Congress, your children and your grandchildren might be the next one being molested and be the next one in prison for molesting another child. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yes, yes.
So here we are in Washington, D.C. I strongly believe, like many mothers today, have lost children in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those rights are not being held for us protective mothers. Our children have come to us and they have been abused by their fathers, and we are punished in the court system. And because we report and try to protect our children, we lose custody. In my particular case, I had to minimize the abuse. It was proven that abuse was occurring to me, and there was abuse occurring to my children, but I couldn't report all of the abuse. CPS was involved. They came in. They could find the files, and the judge just excused it. So we're in a real broken system, and there's federal funding the taxpayers are paying for to take custody away from nurturing good mothers. I am a teacher. I breastfed all my children on demand to give them the best opportunities in their early childhood, and I had great plans for them to continue walking through them through life. It was just a devastation to see that a system that I respected, I was grown up with respect of the government, respect of doctors, respect of the system, would turn on me in my own state. And the state I'm from is Oregon. It's a state that my grandparents came on the Oregon Trail and paved the way for us so that we could have a life. And my children have been stolen from me, and the only reason they've been taken from me is because I'm a nurturing parent, and the other parent was able to pay more money for custody evaluators. It's a huge problem, and we need oversight on the federal level, and we need oversight also on a state level, because our children need us. Our children are in a lot of pain. They're reaching out to us. My children are reaching out to us. The mothers here today, their stories are very powerful and profound, and they want our help. But the systems are stopping us from even seeing our kids. And the worst thing is that many of us don't even have criminal backgrounds, and people that do are able to communicate and see their children more than we are. There's reunification programs for fathers. This is taxpayer money. We're voters, we're constituents of our own states, and yet we're not being treated the same, and we're not even given due process. We had the tender-year doctrine protecting us before. Now we're in the best interest standards, and I've tried to play by the rules with the best interest standards. And a father will report the same exact thing of a disparaging relationship, which has happened to me the other way, and then custody will be changed. But that same protection doesn't happen for me as a female and a protective, nurturing mother. Our system is broken. Our children are hurting. We are all here today gathered because we are hopeful and we want change.
I came here from New Jersey. I'm part of a domestic violence organization in New Jersey, Strengthen Our Sisters. The founder, director, Sandra Ramos, founded the first domestic violence shelter in North America. Back then it was called a battered women's shelter. She can't be here today and sends her support to everyone here. It's through her that I was introduced to the organization Mothers of Lost Children. I also am involved with the NutriParent with Patrice Lenowitz, who also supports Mothers of Lost Children. Patrice runs her organization out of New Jersey too. They supported me coming down here, and I'm grateful for everyone to include me and to feel a part of this organization. My daughter, I did more than I needed to do from birth for her. I started classes for her when she was 1.5 years, and they thought she was older. Mommy and me classes, painting on an easel like she was Picasso, giving all the relatives paintings by her. I nursed my daughter as a baby. I just did more than I needed to, but I wanted to. She traveled, she went to concerts that adults waited 50 years to attend in arenas. But something tragic happened, and she was taken from me, and not just, taken by the courts. That's just present day kidnapping, when you can just take a child away from their mother. You know, mothers don't have to be perfect to be able to give birth and raise their children. I thought I was perfect, but apparently I wasn't perfect enough. I'm not gonna fault myself because I've healed a lot. but it's a travesty. Children are not property. We're not to be fighting over a child. They're little people, and they have rights, and they have the right to be with both parents. So I'm just here because I look, and over the years I have met many mothers who are separated from their children, and this is a trend that has to be stopped. It's just not right. It's taking away the right of the child and the right of the parent. So that's what I want to share with everyone today. I think this is great what we're doing, and we just have to keep going until our voices are heard. Woo! Blessed be.
Afternoon, everybody. Here, Mothers of Lost Children. We're part of many groups in this country who are aware of the travesty in this country and a tragedy. There is more enslavement in this world than there ever has been in the time of history. And a lot of it is coming out of this country. And a lot of it is flying under the radar of the average citizen's knowledge base. A lot of it is happening in places that are supposed to uphold laws. These places are called family courts, sometimes matrimonial courts, sometimes divorce courts. A lot of money is changing hands in the process of extracting a child from a loving parent and giving them over to a dangerous parent. Oftentimes where there's proven abuse, and even if there's not proven, the fact that there's a serious concern requires a serious investigation. And it requires the belief in a child, and believing what a child says. A child doesn't make things up. We need to start shifting the blame from children and those who would protect them to the perpetrators of crimes against children. We're here in Washington, D.C., informing the public, informing our congressional leaders and our Senate leaders what is really going on in the family court system. If you commit a crime in this country, you would go through an investigation and possible prosecution, and you'd have a trial, and hopefully justice would be found. What we're having right now is criminal acts being committed against children, and instead of going into the correct venue, they are being shifted, and the perpetrator is finding safe haven and a sanctuary in the family courts. So it becomes a a hands-off process. So these children are being harmed, they're being vilified, the protective parent is being criminalized, and a lot of third parties are making a lot of money. So the parents that are protecting these children are being driven into bankruptcy, destitution. They've had their character assassinated. Mothers particularly are called all kinds of things. Usually their mental state is disparaged, and the children are handed over to the abuser. And the only ones that benefit in this process are the third-party participants, guardian ad litems, unqualified psychologists, and forensic experts. These are self-ordained people that have no qualifications in domestic violence. They have no qualifications in abuse, sexual and otherwise, of children. So they really don't know what they're looking at. You would never let somebody who didn't have the qualifications fly a plane. You would never let somebody who didn't have the qualifications cut you open and have surgery. And yet in this country, we're giving the option to a lot of hacks, the option to make assessments on whether or not a child is in the proper place. And what we're finding here is a very long pattern, is that these people, in order to enrich themselves, are making adjudications and assessments to take children away from perfectly fit parents. And what's really disastrous and criminal is that they're being handed over to people who are hurting them, who hold them hostage. So these children are maybe coming and going from school, but a lot of people don't realize that they've actually been taken hostage by the perpetrator oftentimes. And in the meantime,